welcome to Psycomedy Daily Dose, the spin-off series of short episodes of Psycomedy during this time of near total shutdown of the live comedy circuit due to coronavirus. I'm Nathan Cassidy, stand-up comedian and Bachelor of Science in Psychology, and every day now I'm going to be talking with a different comedian about the current situation, along with passing on some hopefully really helpful and positive strategies, coping mechanisms from the counselling professionals we partner with at threadup.co.uk. I'm hoping that by sharing experiences and some positivity with comedians, we can all get through this together in the best possible way. So, joining me on Psycomedy Daily Dose today, it's Glenn Wall. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Glenn, how are you?
I am absolutely wonderful. Best I've ever been. Peak physical shape. I don't drink too much. And yeah, I'm not missing work at all.
Nice. What are your top fitness tips for this time?
Well, I joke, but I had to rush back. I was living in Canada, and then sadly my wife's sister passed away. So
oh goodness, sorry to hear that.
And, yeah, no, it's a tragedy. But so, and this happened right before we feared the lockdown, and I was going to be gone we knew we were going to go for a year, maybe more if it had worked out, but definitely for a year. And then that happened, and then I had to move back to England on 3 days' notice. And one of the things we did that's always up in the air, but we put some of our stuff in storage, and I thought just get rid of it all and buy new stuff when we get back. But my wife insisted, and now that has been absolute. It's been a lifesaver. And one of the things that I didn't get rid of was quite a nice bicycle that I thought, wow, I'll just get a new one. But if I'd done that, then I would have been hooped. But I now have a really good bicycle. I'm in the Essex countryside, and I ride it almost every day in some form or another. So.
Nice. Oh God, so sorry to hear that, man. I mean, God, I was talking.
Yeah, as soon as I said it, I'm like, this doesn't sound like advice at all.
Yeah. Oh
this
God,
is a really
yeah.
long story, and it's got a death of a loved one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was talking to Steve and Alan yesterday or day before, and yeah, he's had some tragedy in his life just before this happened, and God, this is hard enough for anyone who it's all falling into place for, but anyone that's going through grief or anything else, it's just it's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I've had this happen. I was doing a play at the Barbican many years back, and it was a big career opportunity for me. And in the middle of rehearsals, my wife at the time informed me she wanted a divorce, which, I mean, it was the only way out. It was just, we'd married the wrong person, both of us. So it was the right
simultaneously,
thing. Yeah, on the same day. We both made a really bad decision. Yeah. You know, so we had that in common. With this play, I was able to, it was actually quite beneficial because I could ice over, and I truly inhabited my character every night. And I was lucky enough, I was playing the CEO of the company, and I was just a real asshole, and you know, always sort of secretly boozing, and you know, I'd been hired by, it was nepotism. So I really, I got good reviews. This guy is really, wow, he's really taking this role seriously.
What was the play?
It was called Office Party. It was one of those ones where the crowd was, was interactive.
Yeah, I heard of that. I think I was going to come and see that, yeah. I'd have been like, that guy's amazing. He looks so drunk.
Yeah, well, well, more than that.
Yeah.
I think we can. Enough water has passed. My God, we did it in Edinburgh too, and
Mm.
the last night of that run, my Lord, I almost fell over in an MDMA haze. I remember, like they had, because it was supposed to be an office party, so there was like these ladies that danced. They hang like these really strong ribbons from the ceiling, and they
Oh yeah,
put,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Silks, yeah.
yeah. My God, I was high, and I just remember like looking at them, going, "That looks really hard." I had to lean onto. And again, they're like, "Oh, the boss is happy." You better fucking believe
it. Nice.
it. Yeah.
So yeah, apart from cycling and MDMA, how are you getting through this? You got a young child in the house. That must be distracting.
Yeah, but I mean, it's lovely, and then it gets harder in the afternoons. Like the kid's just pumped full of energy, and he's learning. He's got a new trick every day that you have to be aware of. It's like a video game, really. You just sort of you get better incrementally at stopping what he's getting better incrementally at doing.
Yeah. Yeah. What are the main challenges? I have a 12-year-old in the house and a 9-year-old. Let's not forget about her. But the 12-year-old is absolutely great. And then between 10 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. when I tell him to go to bed, he's just the. I mean, I love him, but he's the most hideous person on the planet. He's awful. And he looks at me with such hatred, and it's not. I just don't think this is a phase. I think he actually hates me now for getting him to go to bed when he's not tired enough, because I mean, he's not doing enough, is he?
Well, I mean, I had a theory on why men like war movies so much, and it's not to do with who gained crown or who. We just like seeing teenage boys die. And it's something I don't think women understand. It's just the way teenage boys look at us sometimes. And it's the reason that humans have spread across the planet, because in the old times, they'd just give you that, what are you going to do about it? Look. And then you'd hit them so hard, they'd move to another beach. And they would learn take all that they'd known and hook, a couple of people. And then it spreads like that. And then they're old Raggedy and some other kids looking at them. And then you understand the circle of life as your fist hits the jaw. And it's like, oh, humans are getting everywhere by punching. I might use that in my stand-up, by the way. That's been in the maybe pile for a long time. So if anybody's listening to this going, he did material. It wasn't material when I said it, but I probably will be.
Yeah. Nice. Now, anything you say on this podcast is co-written by me, I'm afraid.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I'm now got a writing credit. That's nice.
Yeah. You keep looking for it online. I can't see it. No. It's a very soft release. But anyway, I own all the material.
Yeah. My son, between 10 and 10:30, he lies the other way round on his bed, because that's giving me the middle finger. He lies the other way around on his bed. But what he doesn't realize is he's still got a very soft, big shark. Even though he's 12, he's got a soft toy, and so he always rests his head on this massive shark. So he thinks he's giving me pain, but I'm just laughing inside, going, "You're 12 and you're just lying on a big fluffy shark."
and he is now sniffing his own feet.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the kind of thing, like, it literally only hurts him. It's
Yeah.
like you give a shit whether or not
Yeah.
which ways. It's
Yeah.
like you just told him to go to bed. You didn't tell him, this isn't, you're not facing Mecca or anything. You can sleep in it any way you
Yeah,
like.
yeah. The door is closed. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, we showed him.
Yeah. Oh dear. Well, yes. How about gigs? You're obviously missing gigs, I'm sure, as the international star that you are.
I know, because I got really sad when it all. Well, maybe it was cathartic too, but I just took all the dates out of the diary, that were like on iCal. I deleted them all just so that they wouldn't be there staring me in the face every time I did have something to put in there.
Yeah.
And I quickly realized I needed them to submit for bailout purposes. So
Yeah.
I then had to call everybody. Sometimes it was on the day of when it was supposed to be. Yeah.
You should have just turned up to some, driven to some, and gone, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why isn't he going ahead? Why? I'm
Oh,
here.
I see. Yeah, I see. You get your information from the mainstream media.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw on your social media that even the bad gigs and the awful gigs are missed now, aren't they?
I know. Do you know what else I'm going through? I'm starting to regret every joke or thing I've ever said. Like just going back and going, oh, I don't think that, or I could have made that better. It's a really strange sort of introspection right now. I mean, there's in the larger point, I'm very happy for it because I was smart enough to put it all down on albums, and that's sort of sustaining me now through satellite radio royalty checks. So, as much as I regret it, I also feel like the most gratitude towards it. But if I could go back and change it, I would.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen you put out a few specials, and did you put one out for free as well? Did you put out Creator for free?
Just like a Facebook Live thing.
Yeah.
You had to tune in at the time, and yeah, it was all right. It's sort of my parents saw it, and it's all the just at the end it gets pretty dirty, but I was just ripping. I was going off on a thing, and apparently that's my mom she got confused, and that's all they saw. Just this really dirty ending where I'm talking about giving myself a hand job like a guy who looks like me and it's dirty. And my mom just mentioned it in passing, like, we saw a little bit of your special there. I was like, oh, yeah. And she's like, yeah, we just won't talk about it. And my dad, he's a defense lawyer, It's like he defends criminals, and his estimation of it sounded like one of my clients talking.
Yeah.
Guy defends perverts.
Yeah. Nice. I saw you've got the, what was it, No Land's Man up on Next Up as well. I love that show. The Osama bin Laden bit in that is one of my favorite routines of all time. Love it.
Thank you. Do you know that I talked to some people in the know, and I was right. That's why they couldn't release those pictures. They had
Really?
Yeah, they had desecrated the body to an extent that you couldn't blame it on a bullet hole, and you could, which is a pretty good going. But,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think.
he didn't go into detail, but he said I was definitely on the right track
Oh,
about
nice,
what had
nice.
happened there. Yeah.
I love the whole lead up to that bit. The line where you say up to but not including. Just that line is just amazing. The up to but not including. Asking around and looking over fences. I remember at the time just bending over laughing, and I think about that line often. I don't know what it is about it. It's just like the choice of words. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. But do you look back at some of these, you say with introspection, do you look back at them and say, even like recent things, and think, man, I could do that better now?
There's stuff I would have done differently. Even I had to watch that special that I did when it went out on Facebook Live, and even watching that, I was like, oh, God, I know what I was going for there, but I just, because you get better even in the twilight of your career, like me. And it's a real shame too, because the new show that I've got, I did a work in progress in that over in Edinburgh last year, and it was ready then. And I just thought, well, it'll be super ready for next year. And to be honest, it's about the birth of my son, so it might not work if I wait too long. But we'll see. I might do a double header or something. Something, because I can't just. I tend to write about periods of my life, like a 2-year thing. So if I have a 4-year gap between Edinburghs, I don't think I could squish a whole show into it. But we'll see. Sometimes,
Nice. Yeah. Do one about your birth of your son, and then one about sitting in your house for 6 months.
Yeah. Well, I was speaking with my close personal showbiz friend Ed Byrne about this, and we both concluded that the idea of lockdown humor will be sort of met with the idea of Brexit humor was in the end.
It will.
Just like, man, don't even, it'll be hack. It'll be hack immediately. The good jokes will be taken by the hacks, and it's best avoided. And that was my point of view about this show that was written before the lockdown. Is that's one of its powers, is it doesn't reference it at all because it hadn't happened yet. And it might be unconsciously refreshing to your average punter to see something that has nothing. I might advertise it that way. I shall not mention it, and then it's all about Brexit.
Yeah, I think that will be the best thing, to not mention it. Yeah, I don't know. How about general optimism? Are you generally optimistic for, I don't know, yourself or human nature as a whole out of this? I flick between being optimistic that the cruel people will change, and then I flick back to thinking people don't change. The bastards will still be so.
I am optimistic, but I mean it's perhaps a false positivity, but you have to remember everybody's in quite a spot right now, so you have to maintain a rosy outlook. And if anything good has come from this, is I've seen less people feigning sadness for attention, just because you can't, you can't go on and go, you people don't understand what I'm going through. And it's like, I do. What do you think? No, but me specifically, I've self-diagnosed myself with lockdown phobia, so it's way worse for me. So I deserve all the. Can you retweet this, please?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm a big fan of. We watched all the Doomsday Preppers. It's on Netflix. They've only got one series of it, but it was where they go into these people that are prepping for doomsday, and they sort of snidely giggle at them and give them ratings for how ready they are for the apocalypse. And of course, it was all made before the worldwide pandemic. So, because they make them say what they're afraid of too, and it's the collapse of the financial system, or sometimes it's a worldwide pandemic, and they're like, the chances of a pandemic affecting the world like this is like 2% at best. Yeah, you're laughing at this guy, but then you're like, I wonder if he's in that little buried bank vault right now. But the one thing that they, you can pick up intelligence from anywhere, but it said the most important thing in something like that, like they would say, people have to have games, they have to have stuff to do, and the one thing that they say about any situation where it's going wrong is that you have to be upbeat. Like, it raises your possibility of getting out of the situation. But by 75%, if you maintain a positive attitude. So even if I'm scared, I'm not gonna show it.
I know. I mean, obviously some people are having a really hard time right now, but when you see people being overly negative when they don't need to be, it sticks out. I shared that Captain Tom Moore thing on Facebook. I'm not really looking at news, so somebody sent me that, and it was like 2 days old, and I shared it, and probably a day after the story had come out, and somebody commented on my Facebook. He said, well, not being funny, but why are you sharing something that everybody has seen? I'm like I just deleted it. I'm like, dude, come on. And the Ben Fogle thing. Did you see the Ben Fogle thing from yesterday? Everyone was being nasty to him. He shared something. He said, "Why can't we? Let's sing Happy Birthday to the Queen." Did you see that? Let's sing Happy Birthday to the Queen next Tuesday. And he got his 9-year-old kid in and said it was her idea, or his idea, and a little picture of him or her, and then people just going, "Oh, you twat, Ben." I'm just like, no, he's just trying to be nice. Leave him alone.
Yeah. Like, I won't be dipping my head out the window to sing any songs for her. But in essence, he's just. But I think that's the problem with it, is everybody's tried to. They're like, "Oh, clap for Boris, please." He was wandering around a hospital making fucking spitting in his hand and shaking with people.
I'm shaking everyone's hand.
Yeah, bragging about it too. Like the virus is some guy in a pub that you can sort of eyeball till he apologizes. Well, I mean, I had a thing go. I did a tweet. I said, "Don't make this political. Is the coward's way of what was it? Don't make this political. Is the coward's way of apologizing for electing a fucking idiot." And I knew it was good, but then Frankie retweeted it, and then Owen Jones and Billy Bragg. I was like, I'm gonna have some discussions here on the old interweb. But I've got a rule now, is I really try not to argue, especially when you make a point like that. You've won, like, and if somebody gets upset at you for it, then, like, I mean, I haven't even said this on the thing, and if somebody really goes, I'll point it out to them, but that tweet is it's vague. It's very vague, and it applies to any government that's dealing with this pandemic. Like, you could say it about Justin Trudeau or anybody, like, as long as you didn't agree with a government's handling of it, and people going, "Oh, don't make it political." all it's saying is that there's some cowards that regret who they voted for now. So the fact that people are like, how dare you say that about me? It's like, I didn't. You did. Your subconscious was the one who butted in and went, look at this. Somebody knows.
I'm going to sleep upside down in my bed tonight. Because Glenn Wool said this.
Yeah. But so I purposely, I mean, I charted it because, you know, people flat out, like, if you have that tweet got like 10,000 retweets and 40,000 likes. I couldn't believe it.
Nice.
But people flat out start having conversations that you're tagged in, and you're just like, I don't care. I mean, sometimes the people that are the do-gooders, sometimes they're totally wrong, and you're like, oh fuck, you missed the point of this altogether. But I kept out of it, which I felt smart about. But then they started doing a thing. They started coming to my Facebook, like, and not even my fan page, but my friend page, which I admit I should probably change my name on it. But I found when I tried that once, and when I would comment on things, people would really fucking, what the fuck do you know? No, it's me. Yeah, I had to clarify a few times. It just looked, yeah, I guess my opinions, they have to be backed up by who I am before they can be accepted by the herd. But yeah, they started coming over, and that was the odd part too. A guy who runs a Facebook page called I Hate the Tories, and it's very right on. He stole it, and one of my fan people tagged me saying to him, are you going to give Glenn Wool credit for this? So I came over and I was like, yeah, what the fuck, dude? You can't just steal it, because it was 2 hours after I tweeted it. So I left a message. My wife left, like, just in the comments, just like, could you please just attribute this to me? Because he got like 150 shares on it and stuff, and it was just, you know, they got in all, like, that's my livelihood. I write jokes for a living, and and under it there was a bunch of Jonathan Pye stuff that he'd just like retweet, like he'd taken it from Twitter, but taken it from his account, right, and put it on his page. So he knew how to do it. He just, and
did he get back? Did he get back to you?
Well, here's what happened. I started drinking a bit, and I noticed that he was sending out more tweets and stuff, like, so he just wasn't going to respond to mine that had been on his thing. So I started going on those, going, like, it's really simple. You just have to go into edit and you change it and say Glenn Wool wrote this. You don't even have to redo the tweet. Like, did you think I wouldn't come and find you like this? I'm a professional stand-up comedian. I'm waiting for the world to start again. I got nothing but time, fancy pants. And at that point, he blocked me, because I shared it on my page too, and I said, this guy, I know he hates the Tories. I wonder how he feels about plagiarism. It's kind of but then he blocked me, so then people from my page were coming over. So then he came over to my page in an avatar that had like one follower. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't know who you are. You're not a professional comedian. And like, just being an absolute dick to people. Like, people were just like, mate, all he wants is credit for his joke. He's like, it's not his joke. I read it on a meme, or, you know, like, he said. It was really weird.
Oh, God,
and in retrospect, I could have really caught him, because he said he saw it from some ex-footballer on Twitter that had made a meme, which, like, who would do that?
I had exactly the same thing. I put out a joke years ago, and it got like thousands of retweets. And somebody just made up that they'd had the thought after it was about a politician had said something, but I'd made up the fact that the politician had said it, and they said, "Oh yeah, when I heard that politician say that, I had that same thought." I was like, "No, I made up that he'd said that." You know? But he was so insistent. He was like, "No, I heard him say it." I'm like, "But it was in my exact wording, and I made up that he'd said it." It was, yeah.
So this guy, I argued with him for a bit, but then he was starting to be a real dick, and I just called him a thief and a hack, and I went, "Okay, everybody say goodbye to him. He's blocked." And then the very next day, some guy started going through all, like, he went back like through 5 tweets and just he's like, "Well, this doesn't make sense because like just." So I assumed that it was the "I hate the Tories" guy. And again, I'd been drinking by the time I found him, so I was engaging with him when I shouldn't have been. I should have just blocked him. But I looked into it deeper because, again, like, you know, and he was doing it on my page, so like they're all my friends, so they're all just like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" "Oh yeah, so you're just gonna come in and make it some big circle jerk." Yeah. What I think that guy, I don't think he was the "I hate the Tories" guy. Now I think he had seen the tweet, and because I don't respond to them, had been just looking for some way to get me to interact with him. So
Yeah.
this tweet is turned, like, they're two different guys. Like, one guy's really right wing and thought that I'd called him a coward, whereas I said to you, like, it doesn't. You know, like, you saw that yourself. I didn't specify. And the other guy was from the left and wanted the credit for it, so stole it and then got really assy when he got caught. I was like, the tweet is the Ring, and the left guy is Smeagol, and the right guy is Gollum. It's a really strange interlude, you know. But and I couldn't. For days after, I couldn't understand what the right wing guy got out of it from coming to my page and just being a dick like that. Like he didn't win in any in any stretch of the imagination. I was like, what possibly? And he also said something right at the end. He goes, "Out of all the comedians I've done this to, you're the worst. You're the worst one." And then I realized, like, that, I mean, that's what he's doing. He just wants to be thought of. He doesn't, you know, he's got a condition where he doesn't realize the difference between good and bad attention. He just, you know, he almost likes that he's ruining something, or, you know, it's like Maria Bamford was putting on free shows on one of those sites, and they had to pull it because some people were just yelling or shit. I didn't see the show, but I thought, you know, that's one of the not only fantastic comedians of our time, but of all time. And I'm not claiming that everybody should find the same thing funny that I do, but when you're going out of your way to ruin that, like, that's really not going to affect your life at all. The fact that somebody's doing, like, you've really got a problem. Like, I'm not saying you're harming cats or anything, but I would look at it the same way as that. Like this is going to manifest into something else. It's a really like, just that need to be hated is the seedlings are there for somebody to turn out to be really bad. I would say because it's such a positive thing that you just need to be seen to be ruining, and also not getting any notoriety for it, so to speak. Like, nobody really knows who they are, you know. And I mean, that's what I liked about New Zealand's reaction to the mosque massacre. They won't speak his name.
Right.
You know, the prime minister, who has knocked it out of the park with her response to the coronavirus. She to this day has never uttered his name, and never. There's no description. There's no fame in that in New Zealand.
Yeah, these little bits of hate online, they add up, and particularly at this time, people don't realize the effect they have, the cumulative effect of just tiny little bits of hate. There's no point to it, and unfortunately, we have more time to feed the trolls as comedians, but the trolls have more time to be trolls as well, I guess.
Well, and they also know that you can't go outside.
yeah. They know where you are. They know where you are.
Yeah, and like I think. Did you hear the story about that one? The one guy, he used to troll professional boxers.
No.
He said, he'd fucking just be online, and there'd be these forums or websites where people could talk about their favorite boxer. He would just be an asshole, oh, that guy's a bum, is it? Just being a dick about these guys, and people are like, you're just being an ass, like, let's build them up, and he just would not relent, and I guess somebody pieced it together who he was, because he was having an online argument with a real professional boxer, saying you're terrible, you're the fucking worst fighter in the world. Well, the boxer got a hold of his home address. And he went there and was like knocking on the door, like, sorry, this will be easier. I don't like typing. I gotta watch my hands. So you had some things to say to me, and then the guy snivelled online. Had to write a searing apology for everything that was wrong with him. I mean, I would never advocate a professional boxer fighting anybody. Like, they're just too tough now. Like, he can't sit. But fuck, I mean, maybe that's what we should do with, because a lot of professional boxers end up down on their luck. Maybe that's what they could be used for. It's just troll thrashing. I'm not saying that brain injuries can be good at all, but they're easily pliable when they happen. You don't even have to tell them why, just who.
Ah, man, lovely, Glenn. Such a pleasure to have you on. Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm just glad I had enough time in my busy schedule to fit you in.
Yeah, let's do it again tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Do it every day.
Let's do it a couple of hours tomorrow. This is great.
Oh, that was one of the things I said to I Hate the Tories, because he kept going on that I wasn't a comedian and that I could never have made my money off of, and I just like, look, mate, I really am. I said, yeah, look, I'm not like a hugely famous comedian. I'm just a run-of-the-mill stand-up comic who's come back to England to restart his podcast with Frankie Boyle. Which there's your scoop for the day. We're restarting.
Oh, nice,
freestyle.
Nice. That's great.
Yeah, and this guy, you could see his tone change, where he was like, because everybody, the whole idea of this "Who are you?" fucking chant from the terraces is like, that's, you might as well chant, I don't know what Google is. I don't know what Google is. And if you Google me and Frank's name together, it'll come up, and it's like, It's like, okay. So he's like, he goes, I don't talk to Frankie Boyle anymore. I tweeted a joke at him and he blocked me. And I was like, did he block the guy who wrote it too?
It was probably Frankie Boyle, wasn't
it? Yeah. And then he goes, and I go, but I thank you because we are restarting this podcast, and you've just given us our first topic. Yeah. And he goes, I don't really listen to podcasts. And I wrote, why? Because they're too hard to steal. Nothing. No, people didn't even like it. Like, I thought for sure people would come in and go, but yeah, maybe I phrased it wrong.
Oh man, you should send over Tyson Fury after all this is done and find out where he lives. Just with you in the background going, yeah, it was me that sent him.
Yeah, it's harder to get Tyson now. A year ago, even. You probably could have got Tyson Fury for about £1,000 pounds, but I think, yeah,
we're all going to be desperate. We're all going to be desperate after this pandemic's over.
I think out of any boxer right now, Tyson Fury, his upbringing has given him the best opportunity to not know this is going on at all. I hope the people of the Roma community don't think I was making fun of them there. I have much love for you. I was just making a joke
there. Right. Glenn, thank you so much for joining me today. What a great pleasure to have you on. Beautiful. Thank you.
Yes, thank you too. And he might not be Roma, he might be Traveler. I don't know. I don't know the intricacies, but I want it known I wasn't being a dick.
Don't worry, your troll will copy this. He'll send it to Tyson Fury. You won't be in trouble. He will. I didn't say it. Glenn Wall said it. Who the fuck's Glenn Wall? Yeah. The Frankie Boyle podcast.
Never heard of him. Story of my life.
Right, lots of love to you, Glenn. Love to the family and what you've been through. Lots of love to you.
Thank you, and sorry to hear about your son's shark.
Yeah, an equal tragedy.
I know. We all had something. We're all dealing with something.
Yeah. Look out for that selfie later. Poor me.
Yeah. Yeah. Retweet if you think it's horrible, or like if you just think it's devastating.
All right. Cheers, man. Thanks so much.
All right. Later.
Yes, the brilliant Glenn Wall there. Hopefully we'll get him back on in a couple of weeks to see how he's getting on. So that was our show for today. You can support the podcast as always if you'd like to, and you can afford to, at patreon.com/Nathan Cassidy, and go to psycomedy.co.uk. There's some great mental health tips there from our counselling partners, threadup.co.uk, who are also offering free check-ins at this time for anyone that can't afford counselling. So join us again tomorrow for more Psycomedy Daily Dose. Please listen back on all the daily shows, all the main shows. Please give us a 5-star review. Please pass us any comments. Psycomedy is produced by Mike Hansen at Pod People Productions. Check out psycomedy.co.uk or at PsycomedyPod. I'm Nathan Cassidy. Lots of love to you all. Stay healthy, stay optimistic, and tune back in for more Psycomedy Daily Dose tomorrow.
Pod People.